But let's move forward. Let's talk about Telvin Smith, because on Instagram he came out and said, if you don't know, Jacksonville linebacker here said, I'm just going to take this year off. It's for personal reasons, he says. I don't know if it's something mental health related. I don't know if it's something physically related, something going on with his family. But he's like, I'm just not going to play. Didn't bother talking to the Jaguars or anything beforehand, Drew. It seems like a pretty big issue to me. I mean, do you think there's something going on in the locker room, especially when you talk about Tom Coughlin and the way he was sitting there saying, oh, these guys don't have heart. These guys don't have the drive that other teams have had that you need to win the Super Bowl. Do you think that's kind of a big issue here?
I do think it's probably a leading factor for him saying this. I do think something was probably going on, regardless if it's mental health or problems with his family or whatever. I'm sure those comments upset him. I'm sure they did, because if you're sitting there battling with something, the next thing you hear is your workplace is going, he just doesn't want to be here. You know, when they don't know, I would feel a little upset. I would feel a little hurt, a little taken advantage of. It's like, I just gave my heart and soul last year to you guys, all 16 games, and I just need some time off. And then when you sit there and crush me a little bit saying you don't have the heart to play this game, it would. But as much as everything's going on, I hope all the best to Telvin Smith. I hope that everything's good and he comes back, because the loss that the Jaguars are going to take right in the middle of that linebacking core, right in the middle of their defense, man, it's going to be huge.
No, I agree. And I think, again, he's a high-character guy. He's not one of these guys that's been an attitude problem or not been with the program, or at least if he is, we haven't heard anything about it. So it's kind of surprising to see that. Yeah. That's why I kind of think it is something going on, either probably mental health-wise. It's kind of like an Everson Griffin kind of scenario where he's just not right, and at least he has the maturity to come out there and say, something's not going on with me. But let's look at it from the Jags' perspective, because when you look at it, this is a pretty dangerous spot to be in, because if you sit there and say, hey, don't worry about it, just take this year off, that's fine. The next time somebody else gets this in their mind, they're going to do it too. They're going to sit there and think it's okay. So do you let this slide, Drew? Do you have to cut him if that's the case for not showing up when the time comes? Do you try to wait towards till the season gets a little closer and try to convince him? Because I think the Jaguars are in a rough spot here.
It does give him in a very rough spot, and unfortunately, with not knowing what's going on and him not talking to the organization, if really they can't do anything at this point besides releasing him. And to release him would be an extremely, extremely huge loss. I mean, talk about a young, talented linebacker. It's such a weird scenario, man. I mean, we really haven't seen this. We've seen guys retire and then come back from retirement, but this is not a retirement. And usually retirements are talked about. They're usually seen before it's happened. This is literally just going, I don't think I can play this year.
I need a year off, yeah.
Yeah. It's literally something else. To be honest, they're in a tough spot. Now, Sharif says he thinks Coughlin needs to go.
Look, I'm kind of with you here. I think Coughlin's kind of mismanaged things. He's sitting there criticizing guys for not showing up to the voluntary workouts. But I wonder if there's something behind there, because I do kind of understand where he's coming from. Like, hey, if we want to win a Super Bowl, you guys have to want this. We need guys in here that actually want to win, want to show up, want to work. And they had two guys not show up, and, he probably could have handled that a little bit better than running to the media and sitting there criticizing him. But I kind of understand where he's coming from. If you want to win a Super Bowl, especially in a place like Jacksonville, you need to have the heart and the kind of drive that's going to get you there. You don't have the talent on this roster yet to sit there. You're not New England. You're not the Kansas City Chiefs. You're not the Saints, where you're just going to be a good team. You have to want it. You have to fight for it. And if you don't see fight out of these guys, I mean, maybe that's what you have to do. Maybe you have to call them out.
Man.
Again, tough things going on at Jacksonville, because I do understand both sides. Because like you said, if it's me and I'm giving everything and they're like, oh, he doesn't want it, yeah, I'm going to be upset.
Yeah, it's real tough, to be honest with you. It's real tough. As an organization of the Jaguars, I think they need to be reaching out to him consistently after preseason, after week 1, after week 2, literally after every game. Hey, Telvin, you missing it yet? Hey, Telvin, we need you back in the locker room.
Even more than that, I'd be like, how are you? What's going on? Tell us about it. Because, again, they don't even know what's going on.
I mean, that is part of the conversation. What I'm saying is they need Telvin more than Telvin needs the Jaguars. And I'm not saying that Telvin doesn't want the paycheck and the money, because there's no doubt about it. He does. The thing is, if they release him or cut him, guess what?
Are you sure about that? I don't know. I think, again, this might be one of those precedents where a lot of teams in the league sit there and say, if I sign this guy, and I sit there and say it's okay.
Ricky Williams came back.
But that was weed, okay? You're sitting there saying, okay, it's weed. Some people sit there and say he was addicted to it and all this other stuff. That I understand.
Kareem Hunt found another job.
But you can't sit there and tell me it wasn't want. When it's want, when it's drive. I mean, what was the biggest thing about Josh Rosen falling in the draft? He doesn't want to play football. That, to me, is the biggest thing, because they'll overlook a lot of issues as long as you play hard and you want to be on the field.
So
if they call that into question, I just wonder how many teams are going to be lining up for him, regardless of how talented you are.
Oh, I think tons of teams will.
Because I think that can turn a lot. I think it can turn a locker room, Drew.
I think
again, if you have guys that aren't
20 teams that probably give him a call.
I don't know. I
Say,
really
hey,
don't think so.
What's going on? Was it a mental issue? Is everything okay? Can we talk about this? What's your want to play football again? If the Jaguars release him or try to play tough ball, they're making the mistake.
I guess. I don't know, Drew. Maybe I'm on the fence here a little bit because, again, this is a very tough spot for them to be in. If you sit there and say, hey, don't worry about it, it's okay, there's going to be 51 other guys sitting there saying, okay, well, if I feel the same way,
I get that
I could just call up Jacksonville and say, yeah, I'm taking the year off.
But always calling him, always checking on him, always seeing if he's ready to come back is the right move.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed what you saw. If you did, make sure you subscribe to our page here and throw us a like if you don't mind.
Guys, remember this is sports around the bar, so grab your favorite drinks, join one of the fastest growing communities on YouTube. We can't wait to hear from you.